Hello everyone, and welcome back to Season 1 of my Let's Play series. You have joined Episode 12. Let's see, I need to eat a little bit, and then we're going to get started right away. I've got a lot I'm going to try to get done today in this episode. I think it might help if I go ahead and take those torches out of my offhand. I'm going to start off today's episode. I want to craft another key. I want to start crafting this quantify key. And to do that, we're going to need to craft another drawer key, which, if you remember, was an upgrade template, 2 gold ingots, and a gold nugget. I think I may have some gold nuggets floating around here somewhere still. Yeah, I sure do. So let's go ahead and get ourselves another quantify key, or another drawer key, excuse me. And to craft the quantify key, I already took a little sneak at it. We're going to need one of these books and quills, which we can get with a book, a feather, and we're going to need some kind of black dye. An ink sac, fluoro black powder, black dye. There's a couple of different black dyes we can get. And since I have a bunch of water around me, I was able to go and get rid of a squid, and he was kind enough to drop some ink sacs for me, and that should work just fine for what we want to do. Get that book and quill crafted. Oh, we're missing a feather. I should have some right over here. There we go. Now we should be able to craft that. There's our book and quill. And we need to combine that with the drawer key. And now we're going to have a quantify key. So let's head over to our storage room, and I will show you how this key works. I find it to be a pretty useful key. And you may notice that the building over here looks a little bit different, and that's because I've started laying the groundwork out for our new base. There's a couple other things I want to work on crafting today that's going to help us with that, but I thought I'd start off today by being very careful and coming over here. I'll explain a bunch of these holes here in just a moment. But I wanted to demonstrate how this quantify key works. You can right-click on a drawer, and if you look down there at the bottom, there's going to be a number that pops up. And that number shows you exactly how many items you actually have in that drawer. For instance, I have 472 pieces of granite in this drawer. And again, this works just like the drawer key. And if I target the drawer controller, it's going to show me the quantities for every drawer that I have that is attached to the drawer controller here. So that's basically all there is to the drawer controller using the keys. So let's talk a little bit about our base construction. Normally what I like to do when I'm building a big building like this is I want to go ahead and get the groundwork laid out. So as you can see, I've already got my walls laid out. And believe it or not, this is just a variation on the 9x9. Basically what I've done is I've got a square 9x9 that I've doubled. And when I'm doubling this, I always add in an extra row of blocks, and that just kind of helps keep my building symmetrical. It's not really something you need to do, but it is something that helps me. So if it helps you, you're more than welcome to adopt that policy also. I wanted to show you a little bit down here. This is the basement area I've been digging out. And I just wanted to demonstrate how helpful the hammer actually is when you're doing this kind of stuff. There's a few holes down here, and that's basically because I have mined up just about every resource that was down here. A little bit of uranium I overlooked. And we'll just finish up a little bit of this. There's only a little bit left. I normally don't like to do this kind of stuff on camera, but I thought maybe demonstrating how quickly the hammer is able to help us with this. And we're also going to use a little bit of help from the excavator to finish clearing the rest of this up. And that is going to just about get our basement area dug out. I went ahead and dug a whole basement area underneath it here. And I have been, as I've been mining all that stuff down there, I've been coming up here and depositing the stuff into our drawers. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of our cobblestone, a few stacks of it, and I'm going to pull out my builder's wand. So what I can do is I can fill in these little holes. I just want that builder's wand handy because some of these holes I actually did get a little deep into, and I just want to fill them in for now. We'll worry about making this stuff look pretty a little later. There's another tool that I may end up crafting, or we may find in a dungeon chest or a village chest that might come in handy. I don't think we're quite there yet. We don't really need to make it look super pretty yet. You can see how useful this builder's wand is. As long as I have these blocks in my inventory, it sure does make it a snap. And there's quite a bit of resource over here. That hole got kind of big. I think that's just about going to... Oh yeah, there's a big one over here too. There's a lot of coal over here. I could have used the wand oops on that wand oops command I showed you guys a few episodes. We could have used that there, and that would have undone it. But there were only 2 blocks there, so it wouldn't have really helped us that much to use it right then. The main reason I've got these holes here, every so often I dug a few holes, and that was basically just to let me know where my building stopped and to help keep me on track while I was digging out the basement area. Not real super complicated. It's just a little building trick I picked up to help keep myself straight while I'm building things. And as you can see, I did go ahead and bring the front of this out a few more blocks because since I'm building my what is going to be my main base, this one I wanted to go ahead and go with my 3-block thick wall structure. And I'll show you why we liked it, or at least why I like doing that here in just a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a nap. Basically, I may have enough cobblestone on me to at least bring this up a little bit, enough to show you why I like doing this. And I also like doing 3 thick on the floors. Going from the floors to the ceilings. And I see you sneaky creeper guys. Still don't really have a whole lot in the way of arrows. Let me see if I can just get them to follow me over here maybe. There we go. Now I should be able to raise this up somewhat. I don't have a bunch of cobblestone, but this might come up enough so I can show you guys. And yeah, that's pretty good. Basically what I like to do is I like to have my windows inset. I know that may seem like a silly reason, and it may seem like a waste of resources. I think I got a piece of glass up here. There we go. There we go. I just like to have my glass inset. And, you know, if you're playing on servers, oftentimes like I have, you know, where you can't really be able to chunk claim. I've already chunk claimed this area, so him blowing up is just going to hurt me a little bit. It's not really going to hurt a whole lot else. I have got to work on, I have captured a couple of chickens. I've got them hanging out with my sheep for now until I can get around to building another pen. But I do have some chickens, so hopefully I'll be able to start collecting some feathers, and we'll be able to get a pretty good supply of arrows going. But basically that's it. You know, this is why I like to do the 3 thick. It just seems a little more aesthetically pleasing for me. I like having the inset. I may want to come by and you know, maybe we'll put something in front of the window, you know, just to make it look good. And you know, over here, obviously going to be tearing out, you know, the rest of this top layer and replacing it with some kind of stone. I don't know if I'll do cobble yet or not. Because like I said, there's a tool we're going to be able to get later when we're better off with the resources and we're able to, you know, really have a better selection of a lot of blocks to do this with. The main reason, though, that I like having 3 spots between my ceiling from the floor below and the floor of the level that I'm on is I'm going to be running a lot of wiring. I'm going to be running a lot of ender conduits or item conduits. I'm going to be running a lot of power conduits. And I basically don't want to see a bunch of wires everywhere. You know, so I want one more block to dig down that I'll be able to cover over the top of. So that when I'm running my wires, I won't have to look at them. And I'm just going to use some dirt to demonstrate that. If you can pretend that I've got some wiring down there, you can see that I'm going to easily be able to cover over that. And then any of our machines that need access to power, you're not going to be able to see them. You still won't be able to see the wires, because let's just pretend this dirt block is a machine. And I might have some conduits running up through a hole in the floor here. And then when I place my machine, you're not going to be able to see anything. You're not going to be able to see any of that. So that's just a little trick that I've used to help keep my builds look, you know, as pretty as I can make them. And maybe you guys have some better ways of doing things, or, you know, maybe you have a way of doing things that you like. And there are other options for, you know, covering the wires. There's a painting machine from Ender.io that will let you paint what is called a conduit facade. And you can place that directly on top of a conduit. And if you use the painting machine, you can paint those conduit facades to look like the blocks that you're using. Then again, a lot of my playstyle has developed from playing on servers. So a lot of the techniques and tips and tricks that you'll see me try to use, I do mainly because I try to keep the server lag to a minimum. A lot of times you may hear me joke about being a lag farmer. And, you know, that's something I really try to keep to a minimum, especially when I'm playing on a server. I've got a little bit more cobble out here, so let's work on raising this up some more. And man, those wands go fast. So I will have to go mining eventually for some more diamonds, because I think I'm just about down to my last couple of diamonds here. I've got 3. I've got enough to build one more. Let me check on something real quick, because I'm not sure if I want to build another one quite yet, or if I want to try to build one of these. Because this is one of the other things I wanted to try to build today. Sticky, I'm going to need some pistons. Need oak planks, any kind of cobblestone, redstone, iron. So let's go ahead and try to build a few of these. Now let's go get another stack or so of cobble. I want to make sure I've got plenty. And I'm gonna build a few of these. Let's come over here and grab a few more stacks of cobble. I believe we were also going to need some planks. Did I have any up here? Oh yeah. I've got a bunch of this spruce wood we haven't used yet. So let's go ahead and start using some of this spruce. And let's do about half of that. We'll just turn those all into planks. There we go. And the compacting drawer. Let's see. We're going to need some pistons, redstone, and iron. So let's get a stack of redstone. And I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of this stuff away. Man, I am seriously hurting for space now. I'm going to go ahead and put this bow up. Just for a little bit. Since I don't really seem to be using it. Put some of this away. I'll show you something that we're going to be able to do with these eggs later too. That might be in the next episode. We'll do some fun building in the next episode. Do I have any bread left? Sure do. Just getting rid of that real quick. Run over here and grab some iron real quick. We'll just grab a stack of iron. We're going to need some of these pistons. Let's see how many we can get. Well, that's going to be a lot of pistons. And let's see, I think I'm going to want to start with, let's see if we can get 10 drawers. So let's pull out 10 of these. Actually, I'll need 20 if I want to do 10. I need 2 of these per drawer. Then we're going to need 10 basic drawers. So let's see. We need to go chop down some trees. Let's go chop down some trees. And I think one of the other tools you may not have seen is this lumber axe. I constructed a lumber axe. Mainly because I keep getting quite a few of these taller oak trees. And hopefully you'll be able to see just how quickly this is going to help me knock down these trees. I'm doing it in bursts. I was under the impression that this would knock down the whole tree, but it's only been knocking down maybe 4 to 5 blocks up. So that's why you see me, I'm knocking this part down, just in case it is a taller tree. Sometimes it's hard to tell, you know, especially when you've got such a cluster of leaves like this. It's hard to tell where one tree starts and the other one stops. This is still a lot faster than even that fairly quick hatchet that I've got. There is another tool. I'm not going to make another tool. I'm going to modify one of my tools to give myself a useful little boost when it comes to lighting up our basement area down there. We'll check that out in just a minute. I wanted to get these drawers up. Here, oh yeah, and you know, just look at all that stuff. You know, that didn't take very long at all. And as quick as my hatchet is, I'd still be trying to chop down trees. So let's get some trees planted again. That's probably going to be good for now. Now let's go and put these up, and it looks like it's starting to get dark again. It does get awfully dark. It gets dark awfully quick in this pack, what I was trying to say. It's dark awfully quick. So we'll probably try to take a little bit of a nap here. And before I forget, I'm going to dump all of the experience I've gained clearing all that terrain right into my experience obelisk. And you'll see I've got 21 levels here, and it's at 24, so and that took it up to 31. You know, again, don't be alarmed by that. It's just simply because it takes more experience to get to the next level. Oh, almost forgot what I was doing. Back to crafting those drawers. Now that I should have plenty of wood. And let's go ahead and get ourselves a few drawers. I want at least 12 of those because, again, I'm going to try to do 10. I'm going to try to do 10 drawers. I'm going to need quite a bit more wood. I don't think we're going to get 10 drawers. But I might be able... So we'll take some of that out. I might be able to cross-mix some of this. And we might end up with quite a few of these anyway. So let's go ahead and drop those off. And let's start with these planks since we already have them handy. That's going to give me 5 drawers. And let's go ahead and use the rest of this spruce here. I think that'll be enough to give me the rest of the drawers that I want. Pop these back up here for just a minute. Let's see, now we just need to get some stone and a little bit of iron. I've got the iron. Let's go ahead and kick a little bit of this over into our furnace. I do have some stone over in our storage building in the new base area. But this machine's pretty quick, so I don't think this is gonna take too terribly long. And, you know, we may as well just go ahead and throw this stack in there. We're gonna need a little more stone than I was thinking about. I don't know. It's we're in the middle of a heat wave here in the Midwest. That's where I live in Missouri. It's really hot here. I think it's cooking my brain a little bit. Where is my smooth stone? There it is. We'll just take a stack of smooth stone, and let's see how far that'll take us. That ought to get us a few of these compacting drawers. I think you'll see how useful they are if I can get a few of these crafted, and you'll see why I'm going through so much trouble to get them crafted. They are extremely useful. Well, let's go back to that again, and let's see how many that'll get me. 5. I think that'll get us started. Let's see, we've got 30 of those already. So let's try that again, see if we can get any more. Got another 5. There's my 10. All right. And basically, what I'm going to do, let's grab a little bit of this metal over here. Let's go ahead and take the iron. We'll take the rest of the iron, and I'll show you exactly what these compacting drawers do. I think for now I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this little guy. And you may have noticed that I did end up moving the drawer controller. I did that for 2 main reasons. Number one, I wanted to have a little bit of a doorway here so that we can get into the rest of our base. And secondly, that's going to be a bit of a surprise. If we have time in this episode, I'm going to craft a nifty little automated thing that's going to pump right into our drawer controller, basically so I can illustrate how convenient these drawer controllers can really be. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and pop down some of these drawers. There we go. And now we can take some of our iron. And these work the same way that the oak drawers do, or these wooden drawers that just happen to be made of oak. Now you're going to right click to insert your item, and you're going to either click to take out one item, or you can shift left click to take out the whole stack. So let's see what happens when we pop in this little bit of iron here. I now have access to blocks of iron, and I have access to iron nuggets. So let me pull out my drawer key, and I'm going to pull out the quantify key. And I've discovered, me personally, it's much quicker to target the drawer controller for doing these. I'm going to hit that once, and it should lock any drawers that aren't locked. It doesn't always happen for me, so sometimes I end up having to hit it again, a few times. That doesn't really matter as long as you remember to leave it the way that you want. And in this case, I want them all locked, so I'm going to make sure that they're all locked. And then I'm going to hit it, and it looks like it did just go ahead and quantify that one for me. So these other ones should also show quantities. We'll throw that in there. And see, it's showing me the quantity. There's no compacting involved with stone. So putting stone in a compacting drawer probably isn't really going to do you any good. Now, the downside to the quantify, or to these compacting drawers, is even though this drawer is no longer locked, I'm still having some trouble pulling that out. So if it's locked when you have an item in there, and say you change your mind and I don't want this item in here anymore, try to remember to unlock it first and then pull it out, because then it's going to take that away. Otherwise, it's still going to try to put that item that it remembers being in there. I'm not really sure why that happens, but it's not that big of a deal. It's a pretty simple fix. So I think we can put a bunch of our stuff up here. And what I'm going to do between episodes, I'm not going to bore you guys with the transportation of these materials, is I am going to slowly start working our ingots over into those compacting drawers. And then some of the other items that I have found to be particularly useful going into those drawers is redstone, of all things. Redstone can be compacted, lapis can be compacted. Well, there's a lapis lazuli block. We'll take that with us. Check up here in my overflow. And believe it or not, nether quartz can be compacted. So let's run over here. And I'm going to assign these items to some drawers. And again, the double right clicking will also empty your entire inventory. Well, not the entire inventory, but say I've got, what have I got here, 4 or 5 stacks of the nether quartz. I can right click once, and that is going to empty just that one. So see, I have 4 stacks of nether quartz now instead of the 5 that I have. And the nifty thing is I just happen to know now that I have those 4 stacks. I don't even have to have it in my hotbar. I don't have to have it selected. I can just double right click, and if it's in my inventory and will go into one of these drawers that I've assigned, it will go in there. And that moves pretty quick too. And again, I'm not going to bore you guys with moving every single little thing over there. I just wanted to give you a little heads up on some of the more useful items for compacting. Ender pearls, for instance, are handy for compacting. You can also, I believe you can do clay, bones, bone meal, I believe. Let me check on this bone. Honestly, I don't remember if it's bone or bone meal that gets compacted into the bone blocks. I think it's the bone, but it could just as easily be the bone meal. And I think maybe it is the bone meal. And see there, I forgot. Now, no matter what I do there, until I put these bones back in, it's going to continue to show. There we go. Now it's not in there anymore. Let me take one of these out. We'll crush up a little bit into bone meal, and let's see what happens. Yes, it is in fact the bone meal that gets compacted into the bone block. Bone blocks, we're going to end up using those for crafting components, and you don't really find bone blocks out in the world a whole lot. I mean, you may occasionally. I've never come across one. I don't want to say you'll never come across one in the world. I guess it could be possible. It's just never happened to me. So I like to, have that in a compacting drawer so I have access to it if I need it. There's a number of other things you can put in compacting drawers. I think you can compact cobble, which you can. I generally don't, but it is something that can be compacted. There are some uses for compacted cobble, and we'll get into that. We may end up putting some in a compacting drawer. It's possible. It's not something I'm going to worry about right now, though. We are getting pretty close to the wrapping up point for the episode, but I wanted to see if there was something that I could manage to craft. And what I want to do is I want to get some of these transfer nodes, not the fluid ones. I want the item ones. For that, we're going to need some redstone, some transfer pipes, any stone, and a chest. So let's see what we need for the transfer pipes. Any block of glass, some stone slabs, and some redstone. So let's see if we can't get that crafted up real quick. And I probably have some stone over here still. I do. So let's get some stone slabs crafted. That's just your smooth stone, like so. We'll need a few of those. Let's just grab a handful of them. And let's see what else we needed. We're going to need a little bit of redstone and some glass, which we have. We'll need to run back over to the storage room. There's a little bit of glass up there. There's not a whole lot, but enough for our purposes. I don't have, oh, there it is right there. I was going to have to come over here for redstone anyway. We'll just grab a little handful of that. And let's go ahead and craft our pipes. There's our pipes. And let's see about the items transfer node. Am I missing anything there? I need one chest. I think I'm going to have enough planks to do this. I know it may not look like it, but if I'm right, this may be a sneaky little trick to get us a chest. There we go. You don't need the same kind of plank to make a chest. You just need 8 of any plank around there to make a chest. And we should be able to make that transfer node. And there's a reason I waited to do this. It is normally something I like to do a little quicker. Oh, there's an Enderman up there. I think I can take it. And I did. He gave me that ender pearl and the block of grass he was carrying. That's nice. I have a block of grass now. Awesome. Usually you can't get those until you have silk touch or a way to make grass seeds. Crazy. So anyway, what I'm also going to want is a mining upgrade. I think that's what they're calling it now. It used to be the World Interaction upgrade. But I believe they're just calling it, there it is right here. And for that, we're going to need a golden pickaxe, and we're going to need one of these upgrade bases, which we get by putting a weighted pressure plate made of gold, I believe, into an upgrade base. And for that, yeah, we're going to need 2 gold ingots. So let's run over here and grab a couple more ingots. And I think you guys can see why I'm going to be really excited to get my main base up and running, because it's going to cut down on a lot of this running back and forth to get our crafting components. So let's go ahead and get our weighted pressure plate, and let's get that popped into our resonator up here. And I think it's pretty obvious now why I wanted to make sure that we had enough GP, not only to fly, but I wanted to make sure that our resonator could run at the same time. And we're going to have some other stuff that we're going to want. I'm going to need a little bit more gold, I think, because that needed a golden pickaxe. We'll need 3 to craft a pickaxe. I think all my sticks are up here. They are. And believe it or not, I do use this crafting station, but I usually do it a bit more off camera. But it is very useful for me to have one up here, just by the way. And let's see, do I still have my bucket? I do. I have a bucket. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hijack a little bit of lava, because I only need a bucket. And I'm going to want to pay attention to where this is. And I'm thinking it's going to be right there. Oh. Yeah, I keep getting some mobs down here. We will craft an item in the next episode, more than likely, that's going to help us light this up. You can see I've got a torch or 2 scattered around. I really don't want a bunch of torches all the way around my basement. And since this isn't a traditional 9x9, I'm going to have a little bit of difficulty lighting up in these center areas. But I do have a solution for that, and we'll get to that probably in the next episode. What I'm going to want to do is let's go ahead and get some of our transfer pipes. And I'm just going to go ahead and start running these down. So I'm going to dig down just a little bit. I think that's going to go right there. And I'll fill most of this back in. But I want to make sure that we're going to have a fairly dangerous part here with this lava exposed. And I want to make sure I'm going to be able to cover that lava back up. Got a little bit of smooth stone, so why not fill that back in? And right here, I'm going to want a piece of cobblestone. And we'll get to that in just a minute. Fill this back in with some stone. And I'm going to put, you could put the lava on either side here. That's not really terribly important. And then I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to grab a little bit of water. Some of you may already know what I'm up to. That is possible. Let's see. Oh, I do have some infinite water. I was just thinking, man, I never created a... That's also one of the very first things I do is create an infinite water source. So I generally don't have to go too far to get some water. Thought I'd forgotten to do that for a minute. And now that we have lava on one side and water on the other, I'm going to put down one of these item transfer nodes. And if I right-click it, I'll be able to pop in this upgrade, this mining upgrade, and you can see I'm starting to collect some cobblestone in there. And that was, in fact, the idea. So now, when I connect this pipe, and there is a very specific reason I am not connecting this to the drawer controller. And it is mainly because there's some other items I'm going to want to connect here, and these are not going to mesh well with the item conduits from Ender.io, and that is most likely what I'm going to be setting up over here. And then the other reason I'm not doing it is because eventually it's going to start trying to pipe all of this stuff into available drawers. So I don't really want a whole bunch of drawers with cobblestone. I'm going to want this cut off at the 2048 drawer limit here. And I did want to make a brief correction about that. What's really going on is there's a stack limit of 32 in these that are not upgraded. And if your stack is a 64, if there's 64 items in that stack, then you would be able to put 2048 items in there. There are some items, though, like ender pearls that stack in 16s. You are not going to get a total of 2048 ender pearls in one of these drawers. What you're going to get is 32 times 16. Which I honestly don't know that off the top of my head. I probably should, but I don't. But you're going to get a stack limit of 32 times the 16 that the ender pearls stack in. So I just wanted to briefly address that. So I think this is going to be a good wrapping up point for the episode. We got quite a bit done. And now that I've basically got a source of unlimited cobblestone, I'm going to be able to knock the rest of this building up basically in no time flat. So I'm going to be working on that between episodes, and hopefully when we come back, I'm going to have a fully functional building. And I will wait. I'm going to wait until I start doing my next episode before I show you guys how to craft my tool that's going to light stuff up for me. Because I think you guys may actually want to know how to do that. It's a pretty useful tool. I just became aware of it recently. It's something I want to have a little bit more fun with. So I think in the next episode we're going to try to do have a little bit more fun with our builds and do some crazier builds that I may not do all the time, but there's still going to be some fun. But this is going to wrap up episode 12. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Thanks for stopping by, and take care.